Crypto exchange Binance taking a $200 million stake in Forbes, and U.S. inflation reaches its highest level since 1982. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. Crypto exchange Binance is taking a $200 million stake in Forbes. Forbes and Magnum Opus announced plans to pursue a business combination earlier, through which Forbes will become a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. Binance's strategic investment will be through its assumption of subscription agreements representing $200 million of commitments in the $400 million private investment in public equity that was previously announced, along with Forbes' intention to go public via a business combination with Magnum Opus. U.S. consumer prices rose 7.5% in the 12 months ending in January to their highest level since 1982. Overall prices rose 0.6% from December, higher than the 0.4% economists forecast and higher than the previous month's increase of 0.5%. The rise was the result of broad gains across food, electricity, and shelter prices. OPEC says it expects oil demand to grow this year by 4.15 million barrels per day, in line with last month's estimates as the global economy resumes its pandemic recovery. Oil prices recovered in January, with the OPEC reference basket growing by 14.8% to reach $85.41 per barrel. That's its highest value since September 2014. Lebanon's cabinet has approved a new draft budget for 2022, which sees spending of $31 billion and a deficit of around $4.6 billion. The government hasn't officially canceled the old exchange rate of 1,500 Lebanese pounds against the U.S. dollar, but the new budget implements a rate of 20,000 Lebanese pounds to the dollar. Lebanon continues its negotiations with the IMF in what officials describe as a kamikaze operation. EFG Hermes has completed its advisory on Macro Group Pharmaceuticals' $8.2 million IPO on the Egyptian exchange. It's the first listing of a cosmeceutical player in Egypt. The offering represents up to 45.8% of the company's outstanding share capital listed on the exchange. Officials say the IPO highlights the industry's rapid expansion. Abu Dhabi national energy company TAQA saw $1.63 billion in net income for 2021. Group revenues reached $12.44 billion, 11% higher than the previous year period. Results were primarily due to higher oil and gas prices. France's Total Energies saw $16 billion in 2021 net profit, fueled by the rise in oil prices amid recovering global demand. This compares to a $7.24 billion loss in 2020. Total saw net profit of $5.9 billion in Q4, up from $4.8 billion in Q3. Coca-Cola posted fourth quarter net revenue of $9.47 billion, surging by 10% year on year and surpassing analyst estimates. Coke says it saw more consumption as people increasingly drank their products outside with the gradual lifting of pandemic restrictions. Twitter saw a 22% jump in Q4 revenues to $1.57 billion, boosted by a massive gain in advertising sales. But the quarterly sales were a little lower than the $1.58 billion analysts were expecting. Twitter says it added 25 million users over the past year. Affirm Holdings has posted a larger than expected loss for Q2 as the buy now pay later firm spent more on stock-based compensation following its IPO. Net loss widened to $159.74 million, or 57 cents per share in the 3 months ending December 31st. Analysts were expecting a loss of 34 cents per share. Let's take a look now at today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires ranking. It tracks the daily ups and downs of the world's richest people. Here are today's losers. Our biggest loser today is Elon Musk, down $6.7 billion with net wealth of $249.4 billion. Our second biggest loser today is Robin Zhang, down $3.8 billion with net wealth of $45.6 billion. And our third place loser is Bernard Arnault and family, down $2.9 billion with net wealth of $194.2 billion. Check out our website and social media for all of the latest billionaires news. Russian President Vladimir Putin and French President Emmanuel Macron sat at opposite ends of an extremely long table during their meeting in Moscow after Macron refused to take a Russian-administered COVID-19 PCR test. Macron allegedly refused the test because he didn't want Russians to have access to his DNA. The table kept the leaders 13 feet apart. I'm Ramya Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.